and welcome back to my channel where we talk about Social Security changes, the next two stimulus packages, and daily news updates as well. Nancy Pelosi just announced that she has a new deal for the next stimulus package. So let's discuss the details in this video. But before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I also have a second channel, so if you could do me a huge favor, click on the link that's in the description of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my second channel. I'm going to be giving away a stimulus check on that channel just as a thank you for supporting my work. Okay, so in this video, we're going to do a quick recap on what's going on with the next two stimulus packages, which are the Physical Infrastructure Bill and the American Family Stimulus Package. Now, we all know that Democrats have promised to increase Social Security benefits permanently, so we're wondering whether or not that's going to end up in this package. There's also a lot of Democrats pushing for a fourth round of stimulus checks, monthly stimulus checks for seniors who are on Social Security, as well as more funding for public housing and free community college and preschool. So to quickly summarize exactly what's happening now, the Senate approved both the Physical Infrastructure Package and the budget resolution, which will eventually become the American Family Stimulus Package. The budget resolution is the first step to getting that done. Now both of those things go to the House, and the House has to approve both of those. That way the Physical Infrastructure Bill can then be sent to President Biden's desk, and then Democrats can begin doing the budget reconciliation bill, which is the final step to the American Family Stimulus Package. So kind of confusing, but basically they're working on both packages at the exact same time. Now, so far, the Senate has done a really good job and is way ahead of the House. They have fully approved the Physical Infrastructure Bill, so as soon as Nancy Pelosi brings that to a vote in the House, if they get a majority vote that says yes, it will then be sent to President Biden's desk to be fully signed into law. Now, of course, this bill is for physical infrastructure like roads, bridges, and highways, and will create millions of jobs, which would stimulate the economy as well as help a lot of American people get back to work. So the Senate approved the Physical Infrastructure Plan and then immediately approved the budget resolution, which is basically the framework for the American Family Stimulus Plan, and it is the first step in getting that done. Now the House has to do the same thing. They have to vote to approve the Physical Infrastructure Plan, and then it'll go to President Biden's desk to get fully signed into law, and they also have to vote to approve the budget resolution, which again is just the first step in the American Family Stimulus Plan. The next step would be the budget reconciliation bill, which would take a few weeks to a few months to fully get done. Of course, we're still waiting for the details on that, but everything is being held up because Nancy Pelosi said that she will not even bring the Physical Infrastructure Bill to a vote until they fully approve the American Family Stimulus Plan, and currently, this is what's holding everything up. Senate Democrats and Republicans overwhelmingly voted to approve this Physical Infrastructure Bill on a bipartisan fashion, but Nancy Pelosi is worried that if the House fully approves the Physical Infrastructure Bill, that moderate Democrats will then have no incentive to vote yes on the American Family Stimulus Plan. The problem is, moderate Democrats don't want that much more stimulus. They don't want a fourth round of stimulus checks. They don't necessarily want to increase Social Security benefits. So Nancy Pelosi's thought process here is that she's kind of using the Physical Infrastructure Bill as leverage to make sure that moderate Democrats vote yes on the American Family Stimulus Plan. So at the end of the day, although Nancy Pelosi continues to delay the process, just like she did for the first three stimulus checks, she is fighting for more stimulus. Now, whether or not you agree with her process, let me know in the comments below. But at the end of the day, she is trying to get more stimulus for the American people. At the moment, the House of Representatives is actually on vacation, but they're going to be back next week, and they expect a strong showdown, a strong debate between moderate Democrats and progressives. Again, moderate Democrats want to fully approve the Physical Infrastructure Bill now and let President Biden fully sign that into law, and then just like the Senate, then move forward with the American Family Stimulus Plan. Nancy Pelosi wants to do the opposite. She's refusing to bring the physical bill to a vote until they approve the American Family Stimulus Plan. So we're kind of in a stalemate here, and this could be a potential problem. This could delay stimulus for months. Well, Nancy Pelosi just offered a deal to moderate Democrats in hopes that they can come to an agreement and get this deal done quickly to get all of the stimulus approved and get money in the hands of the American people quickly. Nancy Pelosi actually wrote a letter to moderate Democrats offering them a deal to advance the American Family Stimulus Plan and the Physical Infrastructure Plan at the exact same time. In Pelosi's eyes, this is a compromise and should get us inching forward to getting these deals done more quickly. Speaker Nancy Pelosi sought to reach a compromise with 9 moderate House Democrats who have threatened to vote against adopting the budget resolution unless the House first votes on a Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill. In a Dear Colleague letter to House Democrats, Pelosi said that she requested that the Rules Committee explore the possibility of a rule that advances both the budget resolution and the bipartisan infrastructure package at the exact same time. Now, to be clear, this would not fully approve the physical infrastructure bill, but it would set up floor consideration of the package later this year. So, bottom line, Nancy Pelosi's deal is more of a symbolic move. It doesn't actually approve the physical bill. It basically tells moderates, okay, we're all going to vote yes to then later fully approve this bill, right? So really, you're not getting anything done. It's more of a symbolic move, so I understand why moderate Democrats don't like this, because their response so far has been a hard no. And although Pelosi was hoping this would be a middle ground, a compromise that could bring moderates and Democrats together, so far we remain in a stalemate. But the truth is, both moderate and progressive Democrats want to get both of these stimulus packages done because they all believe that getting both of them done is the key to winning these re-elections in 2022 to maintain control of both the House and the Senate. The real question is exactly how much they're going to spend in the stimulus plan and how much they're going to increase taxes. This is why Pelosi is using the physical bill as leverage to make sure that moderate Democrats are willing to raise taxes to get that stimulus package done. Pelosi's worry is that they approve the physical bill and then that moderate Democrats will not allow progressive Democrats to increase taxes on the rich to fully fund a massive stimulus package plan. Now, with that said, this package does have a lot of support from both progressives and moderates. The bulk of this package was actually put together by the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is made up of half Republican and half Democrats. So most likely this bill is going to get done. The question is, what is going to be included in the American Family Stimulus Plan? Will we have a fourth round of stimulus checks? Could we have monthly stimulus checks for seniors? And could they even include permanent Social Security benefits as well? This is why Pelosi is holding off on the physical infrastructure bill. Now, guys, whether or not you agree with that plan, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So with Nancy Pelosi at the helm, she is facing pressure from progressive Democrats, moderate Democrats, the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is moderate Democrats and Republicans, and then Republicans like Mitch McConnell as well, who are slamming the plan for creating too much debt. Mitch McConnell thinks the entire stimulus package is a waste and will lead to massive inflation in the years to come. Progressives would prefer to spend double and do a $6 trillion stimulus package, while moderates and the Problem Solvers Caucus think that Pelosi should immediately approve the physical infrastructure bill and then move on to the American Family Stimulus Plan and simply keep the two things separate. And we actually got a really good update from the Problem Solvers Caucus, so let's take a look, see what they had to say, and then we'll discuss the details and what we expect to happen next.
Recess draws closer. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is making sure all Democrats are in line to pass their legislative priorities. Overnight, the Speaker sent a letter to the Democratic caucus pushing it to support the passage of both the reconciliation and the bipartisan infrastructure bills. She writes in part, while the bipartisan infrastructure bill offers more important progress, it is not reflective of the totality of Democrats' vision. We must also deliver the Build Back Better bill that includes our priorities that meet the needs of American families. The Speaker is trying to balance the wishes of both factions of the Democratic Party. Progressives have said for months that they are not willing to vote on the bipartisan infrastructure bill until the $3.5 trillion reconciliation package is done. Moderates say the opposite. That's a problem. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey and Republican Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania. They are co-chairs of the House Problem Solvers Caucus. Also with us is former senior advisor for the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, Kurt Bardella. He is now an advisor to the DCCC. So, Josh, I'll start with you. How do you solve the problem of getting these Democrats to get in line so these both can be passed?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I think the actual solution is pretty simple here. We vote first on this historic bipartisan infrastructure package, get it done. And as you know, it's out of the Senate now. We're supported by not just 19 Republicans, but by labor and by the Chamber of Commerce. It's a great once-in-a-century opportunity to move forward here. And we should do what the Senate did, was vote first on infrastructure and then move immediately to begin considering reconciliation. And we could get the votes together for that. That's what we should do next week, and show the great momentum that the country needs, that we can actually govern together, that we can address, we've got in Jersey, third worst roads in the country, a third of our bridges are unsafe. We've got great ability here to fight climate change through this package. So let's just get it done, move it forward, and immediately move to reconciliation, just like the Senate.
Congressman Fitzpatrick, there's been so much talk about infrastructure, so much talk about different pieces of legislation. I think it's fair to say the American people are sort of lost in this swamp of what might happen, what might not happen. So how do you see this playing out, and what's the end result for the people in your district? What's going to happen here?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Exactly what Josh just said. We have a bipartisan, bicameral bill that is supported by the White House. It got 69 votes in the Senate. The AFL-CIO supports it. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce supports it. The Business Roundtable supports it. You don't see this every day, believe me, particularly in this climate. So as Josh said, why not accept this win for the country? The country's starving for a bipartisan victory. Our country's starving to see some major legislative product that we can come to the center, come together on as a country and get it done. What does it mean for our districts? It means broadband. It means water infrastructure. It means fortifying our ports, fortifying our airports, our increasing funding for transit and surface transportation, and a whole host of other things. It means jobs. It means national security when it comes to the electrical grid. It means protecting our environment with the water infrastructure. It means all these things. It's a victory waiting to be taken, and we should take it.
Kurt Bardella, you advise the DCCC. It seems to me we have two competing forces here. We have Democrats who can pass legislation and pass what they would consider, what progressives would consider, what many old-time Democrats would consider historic legislation. It would put Joe Biden as a transformational president along the lines, in many ways, of LBJ, if you just look at it, expanding the social safety net. Then on the other side of that, if Democrats want to win, as you know very well, and the DCCC knows very well, they want to maintain a House majority. Well, there are about 20 to 30 moderates that have to win their races. I would guess $4.5 trillion in new spending would most likely hurt those moderates. So it's a real balancing act that the Speaker, the DCCC, the entire party is going to have to be going through. How do they sort through it all?
Okay, so it's obvious that everybody loves the physical stimulus bill, right? Republicans love it, Democrats love it, the American people love it because it's going to create millions of good-paying jobs. Now, they made a really good point about the American Family Stimulus Plan. On the one hand, Democrats want to approve a ton of stimulus for the American people, and for a lot of Democrats, this would mean they would win re-election in 2022 to maintain control of both the House and the Senate. However, there are a lot of moderate Democrats in the House who could actually lose their re-election if they approve too much stimulus, because voters from moderate states do not like when government creates more debt. Now, the solution here is obvious, folks. Stimulus checks. We all know what happened earlier this year in Georgia when Democrats promised to approve more stimulus checks if both Democrats won both Senate seats in Georgia. Well, Democrats promised more stimulus checks, the American people voted for both Democratic senators, and then Democrats delivered more stimulus checks. So although it's true that voters from moderate states don't like when the government creates more debt, it's been proven that voters across the board, whether it's progressives, moderates, even a lot of conservatives, they do approve of stimulus checks. And this is why a lot of Democrats are pushing to include a fourth stimulus check in this package, potentially stimulus checks for Social Security, and even permanently increasing Social Security benefits. There are over 60 million seniors on Social Security, and all of these voters could be the difference between Democrats maintaining control in 2022 or losing the majority to Republicans next year. And this is why that personally, I believe there will be a fourth round of stimulus checks, and I do believe there's a good chance that Social Security will get something as well, whether it's a stimulus check or permanent increases across the board. And again, Nancy Pelosi did offer a deal to moderate Democrats to advance both the physical stimulus and the American Family Stimulus Plan at the exact same time. Now, whether or not moderates will go with that plan, we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, this negotiation could continue to be delayed. Again, the House is currently on vacation, but they're set to return next week on August 23rd, so we should have a lot of updates coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget